So welcome in everyone. It's about 7 o'clock, so I'll kind of re-explain what we're going on here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of record my podcast as I'm going through on the live stream with this here. I'm going to go through all my bullet points that I feel like I want to share, and hopefully if someone hears it and wants to share theirs with me or wants to, help people out and stuff, I just want to create a concept of people helping people and getting people on the right path mentally and where they need to be going and stuff, because I just feel like there's not enough of it in the world today. And so let's dive into it today and see what we got going on. All right. Well, welcome back to episode 2 of Regenerating Degenerations, and welcome back all you degenerates. Today is episode 2, and we're going to talk breaking the habits and cycles, because your day-to-day don't change if you don't change what's actually happening in your day-to-day. Habits start with what you were doing daily growing up, but responsibility for our lives comes from us, not from what we've been. It comes from what we want. And there's a big part of people that want to lean on what they have done before in their lives. And that includes childhood, that includes teenage years, that includes early adulthood and everything. But nothing in this world is permanent. And if you don't like the outcome for what you've been doing, there's only one thing you can do, and that's switch up what you're doing daily. And each of those habits can be positive or negative, and today we're just going to roll in and explore those options with each other and kind of express on how your habits can change what your outcome is, even if you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Just because the people before us in our life lived one way doesn't mean we have to, but if their life is a positive, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have to either. It's up to us to give and take away from the relationships that we build in our lives, and to decide which areas of our life we grow and which areas of life we don't grow. That growth can be positive or negative. It depends on what you do with it and the path you take with the people that have been put in front of you. If your life doesn't look the way you want it to look, and you don't change anything and you do the same thing every day, you can't expect your life to look any different. It's just how it is. Our standards in life don't come from anyone but ourselves. The only person that can change a habit is you. There's nothing I can say, do, or anything with you. You're the only person in control of the habits and the things that you do when you wake up in the morning, and when you want to go to the next thing, and when you want to do with your life. It's on your shoulders. There's nothing you can do about what you did yesterday. There's nothing you can do about what's going to happen tomorrow. But there is something you can do about what you're going to be doing today. And rewriting your day with all this is probably the hardest part in changing a habit. It's probably the number one thing that people struggle with, because people get in their comfort zones and people get into like this mode. And in all reality, it's not an issue. You should be comfortable to an extent. But if your life isn't comfortable, why are you comfortable? If your life is a wreck, that means your habits and the things you're doing with your day probably aren't appropriate to get you where you want to actually be. And that's just kind of what comes together in general for these things. It does make a huge difference. We all have habits. We all have anything in our life that we would like to change. We all have different goals and different ceilings and different things we strive to be. And at that same token, though, even though we all have those habits, every single one of those habits can be broken, can be remeasured, can be addressed, can be taken out of your life. It's probably one of the hardest things to do is to destroy a habit. I truly believe that's why drug addiction is such a hardcore thing. It's because if you're used to waking up and your life is somewhat okay still, even though you're doing all these things you shouldn't be doing, you're not going to change those things if you're comfortable or in any way, shape, or form. And it's just how it works. And so you have to be the realization if you want anything to change in any of that. Consistency and time. Those are the two major things that you need to change any habit in front of you. You can't be like, I'm going to stop smoking weed, but then a week later, I'm smoking weed again. You can't be, well, I just hit it that one day. No, you just revisited the habit. You just restarted a cycle. You just were so far and took every single one of those steps back that you decided to take, if that is your actual goal. And it matters, man, because if your goal is to do a certain thing, like let's say you want to put the bottle down, you want to stop smoking, you want to get promoted, you want to do all this stuff, but then a week later, you're not even talking about it anymore, or you're not even doing anything with it anymore, or you completely backtrack, you just let yourself down. And you just let a habit control what you want to do with your life, instead of letting your goals control what you want to do with your life. And it happens to every single person on this planet. We all get comfortable. We all get complacent. We all strive to do things, but then give up. It's just depending on what you want to do and how you want to get there and how far you actually want to take it. It matters so much. And the biggest thing that comes with that is the consistency and time. You can't revisit something and expect it to be different from the first time that you visited it. If something failed you before, most of the time, it is going to fail you again. If you are living your life a certain way, but you want to wake up and be a millionaire, but you're not doing anything to get you there, then how can you expect your life to be a different way the next day you wake up? It doesn't make sense. You have to be the one to pull yourself out of it. You have to be the one to break the habit. You can't expect anything from this life. You can't expect anything from this world. And you got to be the one to lift yourself up. But hopefully, with me sharing and other people sharing, we can help each other lift each other up to get each other where we need to be mentally, so physically we can discipline ourselves and get where we want to be. It makes so much sense, and it helps so much when you got a team of people behind you and you actually have people that want to believe in you and take you somewhere, other than just thinking you're out here on your own. And that is kind of the whole point of me being on this podcast. I want us to be there for each other. I want us to learn from each other's experiences. I want us to understand that these habits and stuff are there's things that people have already done. There's habits people have already broken. There's walls people have already overcome. And that can help you learn so you don't have to do the same strides either. You don't have to go through the same problems I went through, because I'm more than happy to tell you the issues that those problems happened in my life. And I hope you would do the same for me. It just is how we need to work together. We're not going to make it in this world if we can't work together in that way. It's up to us to keep appropriate habits and to uphold higher standards. It's not up to anyone else. Keeping the habits that help you and breaking the habits that keep you down. Keeping a healthy lifestyle and blocking out the unhealthy lifestyle. It'll take you so much further in life. And that has a lot to do with surrounding yourself with people that have the like mind as you too. You can't surround yourself with people that don't have the same goals as you, or people that are doing the habit that you're trying to break, or people that are taking steps in a direction that you don't want to go, and then be surprised that you're not where you want to be. It's just how it works. And if we don't step up for one another, and we don't actually take the time to tell each other that, we're all going to rely on the wrong people instead of trying to rely on each other. The people that actually matter to us are the people that actually want to take us places, not the people that want to keep us down. And a big part to that too when it comes to people, and especially when it comes to habits and your lifestyle and your choices that you make, people will hold on to the past until you show them that you're not the past. That doesn't mean you need to hold on to the past. That means people will legitimately stand behind the actions that you've taken against them until you show them the actions that you're taking to be a better person. There was a long time in my life that I had to wait before people would even talk to me, before people in my family would even like me, because of the actions that I took when I was younger with drugs and with my personal life and the way I treated my family and things of that nature. We all have things to overcome, and if you don't take the steps, you're going to be lost forever. It's just how it is. It's kind of same, don't sit here and waste your time with decisions that you know are going to have negative outcomes. Don't revisit something if you know the result. Don't sit here and make an excuse of why I should be able to do this when it's never done anything right by you. There's so many times we justify our actions in our life because we feel like there's no reason that should have been a negative outcome. In reality, it doesn't matter if there shouldn't be a reason. If the outcome's negative and the outcome's not benefiting your life, then there's no point in trying it again. So many people revisit things that they should just leave in the past because they're comfortable, because they're scared of letting it go, because there's different things in their life that they feel like they're not going to be able to handle without it. That fear is what will keep you down for the rest of your life. If you cannot get past it and actually make the decision to go further with your life and to break a habit and to stop the cycle, then you will be stuck in that position for the rest of your life. And it's hard. But we can't blame any other person on this planet what's wrong with us than us. There's not one person walking around here that made you do anything. I chose my friends. I chose what I did with my life. I chose where I was hanging out. I chose the things that I did with my day. Just because people around me are doing the same stuff doesn't mean anything. That just means they made the same bad decisions that I made. Or it means that they made the same good decisions that I made. There's a lot that goes into everything that we have around us. And a lot of the stuff I know people are hearing as a negative right now, but this stuff is positive as well. Almost everything that you hear here can be used as being something that's helping you get in a direction. These people that are having habits around you, they could be great habits that are helping you get to that next level. There could be different habits out there that seem like they're bad habits, but they're actually improving someone else's life to get to a level they're going to. It's just not the same level you want to be at. And that's okay. But we got to all understand that it's our choice to take from people and to give to people what we decide is appropriate. So, responsibility, habits, and standards will depict what your life looks like. We oversee our future even if we don't know what it looks like. Even if I can't predict the future for you, I can tell you that my future is going to be good. So I'm going to put positive in this world. I'm going to work very hard for my wife and kids. And I'm going to try to be a better person every day. I'm going to do many things in my life that will help me have a great outcome. And we can all do that. But if you're not putting good out there, you can't expect good to come back. There's no right or wrong with anything that we want to do with our goals, that we want with our lives, which means we shouldn't be ashamed or afraid or indifferent over sharing our experiences. We all have good, we all have bad. I'm the villain in someone's story, I'm the hero in someone's story. And that's okay. It's what life is thrown at me, and I'm trying to not be the villain in anyone's story anymore. But we can only do so much, and our decisions are the things that are going to take us there. You're allowed to live your life the way you want, but you determine where that takes you. You determine the outcome. You have to take responsibility for the actions. You have to take responsibility for the things that are even around you, because you put yourself in the position with all this stuff around you. You put yourself in the position where you made that decision. It's responsibility for everything and anything, goes a long way in your life. And if all you're worried about is keeping your side of the street clean, then that responsibility is super easy. Don't be worried about what other people are doing. Don't be worried about what the other side of the street looks like. I'm here to do what's right in my day. I'm here to do what's right in my life. I'm here to put a positive foot forward and try to make a better place out of this world. If you're not doing that, it's not my concern though. If you're not the one putting that foot forward, I'm not going to be the one to tell you not to. I'm going to be the one making sure my side of the street's clean, so at least I know a little bit of positivity is going back in this world. There's a big part of this for habits and cycles is very personal to me. I had to give up my entire life before I actually knew what kind of habits and cycles I was in my life. I had to do, so I moved from South Dakota to Arizona, and I immediately got kicked out of my mom's house for when I was deep into drugs, and I didn't even realize what was going on. I thought my mom was wrong for kicking me out at the time. Had no idea, and then I kind of have a come to, but I didn't even realize at the time how big my decisions were. And it wasn't until I was in California at a rehab, that was a Calvary Christian-based rehab, and that was the hugest turning point when I had 30 days and I had to go through 2 weeks where I could barely sleep. I had to completely revisit on what I'm actually doing when I'm waking up in the morning, actually being constructive with my day, actually going to work, actually putting my best foot forward, actually trying to achieve something even if I don't. And there's a lot to be said for being content with where you're at, but not being complacent in the sense of where I'm not trying to move forward. And that's something that was very hard for me to learn. But the habits that I had to change, I would have never changed if I would have kept every single person around me. I would have never changed if I would have had everyone in my life that was doing the same things that I was doing. I would have never seen a different side of my life if I wouldn't have actually taken the time and changed up what I was doing on a daily basis to get to the next level in my life. And it's massive that we all realize that our habits are what's taken us places. Just like my habits led me to being homeless at 25, living out of the backseat of my car, trying to find rides on, or trying to find couches to sleep on and trying to find rooms to sleep in overnight. My habits led me there, but my habits also led me to where I'm 33 and I got my wife and my 3 kids and I got a house that I've lived in for the last couple of years and I got cars and I got, positives going on. I do my art. I can do what I need in my life. My habits brought me there too. And my habits are only going to bring me further as well. And I truly believe that if we all come together and help each other with our habits and our cycles, that we can all bring each other to where we need to go. But we just need to make it an actual thing where we're talking about it with each other, to where we're actually discussing what's going on in my day so you know what type of stuff I'm doing. And you need to be a good enough friend to where you can tell people like, no, man, I think you're making a mistake right now. I think that you're doing something you need to switch up. Like, we can all help each other with this in so many ways. Just perspective. We can all tell each other, hey, I've done this. Hey, I've been there. Hey, you don't have to make these mistakes because I've made these mistakes and I want to help it so you don't make these mistakes. And it's what we all want anyways. That's all I have for episode 2 of Regenerating Degenerations. Welcome. Thank you. I appreciate everyone listening to me talk about habits and cycles for the last 20 minutes. Thank you very much for tuning in, and y'all have a great night.